So welcome back, guys. This is Madhav PVL, and today we are going to discuss about this process abstraction and this operating system. So basically, what is meant by process abstraction? So if we just consider an operating system, so this is a Windows basic operating system. So now this is a graphical user interface as I said in this previous videos. So if we need to just run a code or run a program, so it requires some time. So we can just say like it needs some abstraction. So when you need to run an exe, that is executable file, then the operating system creates a process is equal to a running program. So to run an executable file, operating system need to run a program, that is a set of code from different shells. So it needs to run a program to just execute or to just run an executable file. So OS need to run a process. So the process is nothing but this running program. So OS as a scheduler that executes the program in a CPU. So scheduler is nothing but in our operating system, we run different types of code in this particular time. As it is a multi-processor, laptop is a multi-processor, right? So we can just run a multiple codes at a particular time. So basically, they should be a scheduler to just keep in a perfect order to which program should run first and which should be the second. So it should maintain a proper way. So that way should be decided by something, right? So that is a scheduler. So OS as a CPU scheduler, they have two parts. That is a policy and then mechanism. So policy is nothing but it will just check the priority. So the priority of a program to run in an operating system is nothing but this policy. So the thing which should run first will be first, and second will be second, and third will be third. So if we just consider 1 second. So code one, code two, code three, code 4. Sorry, we shouldn't write it as a code. We should write like a program 1, program 2, program 3, program 4. So basically, if we just consider this 4 programs, then let us consider these are in a zigzag order, like somewhere something. But the user clicks on this 4 programs. But here we need to just consider this scheduler. So after considering the scheduler, we may just come to a conclusion like code 1 should execute first, and then code 2 should execute second, and then code 3 should execute third, and code 4 should execute fourth. So there will be a comparison, right? So those comparisons will be done by this policy part and the scheduler, whereas when it comes to its mechanism, so how to switch in between these two processes. So basically this will be just like a block. So let me just show you one thing. So if we consider this as an operating system, then we need to just divide this into two parts. So after dividing this into two parts, here user will just pass a command. So after user passes a command, then it will just check for the registers. So after checking for registers, and then it will just pass a command to the kernel. So after passing a command to the kernel, then it will just reach to its kernel position, like it will just move to its down part, and then here there will be the system required files and also the registers which were required for obtaining this process. So here there will be system files. So kernel is having a separate place in this operating system for maintaining all the system files and then data registers. So after getting all those things, and in kernel they will just pass the command and it will just check for the keys down here itself. So keys what are required for this passing this program or the process, and after knowing all these things, again it will just return back to this, and it will just give its output or it will just execute this executable file. So this is about architecture of an operating system. So in this way, this will work. So for this whole process, scheduler plays an important role in just fixing what should come first and what should come last. Then what does a process contain? So process contains a unique identifier. So if we just consider a class of 10 people, so let us just consider a class of 10 students. So if we consider a class of 10 students, let us consider their name as A, B, C, D, E, and so on. So like that, if we just consider those names, so if we need to just call the person A, we need to just call him with this only. So like we should call him like A only. So if we just call A, then A student will come near us, not the D. So basically unique identifier is nothing but, so each student will have his own names. So each process or each executable file has its own unique identifier. So basically, this is about unique identifier. So memory images is nothing but this will be in its second part of this operating system. So in memory images, there will be code and data, that is static. So code and data is nothing but the command which we are passing in the data which is required for this process. That is the executable file. And then stack and heap are the dynamic. So dynamic is nothing but they will just move after this program. So stack and heap are just for the process of arrangement of the things. So, and then CPU context are registers, program counters, current operands, and stack pointers. So CPU context data is nothing but, so program counter is just for the purpose of checking, and then current operands are for the purpose of this operations performed by this executable file, and then stack pointer is nothing but for saving this memory. And then file descriptors, pointers to open files and devices. So file descriptors are nothing but we need to just, if we just consider a person who is new to the city. So if a person is new to the city, he need to just get some guide like some Google map. So here the pointers are nothing but the Google Maps, and then open files and devices are the things which we work on. So this is about the file descriptors. So how does an operating system create a process? So this is also one of the major thing. So it just allocates the memory and creates a memory image. So it loads the code data from disk and the executable files and creates the runtime stack and heap. As I said before, these are all the things. And then it opens the basic files like standard files, input files, output files, and ERR files. So initialize its CPU registers and PC points to the first instruction. So input output will just pass a command, and the code data will just get into this memory, and in this memory it will just get into the CPU, and the CPU will just return back its output, and it will just return back to this in this output way. So this is a basic architecture. So states of this process is running. So currently executing files are known as running, and ready waiting to be scheduled by the scheduler are the ready files, and blocked files are suspended or completed or not ready to run. And then new is nothing but being created or yet to run, and then dead is known as this terminated files. So this is about the abstraction. So thank you for listening, guys.